Okay, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Thank you so much for your patronage. If you're supporting us on Patreon, thank you so much. If you have connected your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account, remember to re-link those, re-up that link every month or so. We get paid every month that you remember to do that. And if you're a YouTube subscriber, we appreciate it. All those are getting us paid, so Shane can afford to keep producing these. I'm not getting paid, but I appreciate that you're allowing Shane to give me a forum. Our next question comes from SIFTD from Pachter. With Generation 8 now in the rearview mirror, what do you think will be its legacy? Ooh, what's your game of the generation? You know, this is probably similar to what I answered in a prior episode, but I'd say pretty much all the Sony first-party games were my game of the generation. And I have to say, in the Xbox 360 generation, I found the PS3 really buggy. And so the PS2 generation, I played PS2. In the PS3 generation, I started out on PS3, or I had an Xbox first, obviously, but I started out on PS3 and I kept getting buggy games. And I remember reading that they weren't buggy on Xbox 360, and I switched. And so I pretty much played everything on Xbox 360, all multi-platform titles. And then in PS4 generation, I went back to PS4 because I thought Xbox One didn't have as many first-party titles that I cared about. So I ended up playing Uncharted and Last of Us, and I think Uncharted 4 was a PS4 title, I think. But Uncharted, Last of Us, God of War. Probably God of War was probably my favorite game of this past generation. But I got to say, I liked them all. And God of War, I just found God of War like exactly challenging enough, but not too hard, that I could finish it, but I felt a sense of accomplishment. It was plenty long. You know, I probably had 30 hours into it or something. I mean, it was a good experience. You didn't really ask this, but I felt that way about Zelda Breath of the Wild as well. Like that, you know, which wasn't really Generation 8. It's a different game, but I love that game. You know, and I actually went back and played that game more than once because it was just a really fun game. And it's one of those games you had to manage your resources, and there was good balance in the game, and you died often, but not so often that you wanted to quit. You know, so it was just like a good game. So those probably are my two favorite games, God of War and Zelda, of the last 7 years. I'm not a big GTA guy. Like, I like it, but it's not like GTA to me is repetitive and tedious and takes way too long, and I have never finished one. So I just lose interest, you know, at level, I don't know how high they go, 50. You know, I just can't go 80 levels of the same game. And especially because I suck at driving in with a controller, I just can't do it. So driving missions destroy me. I literally, you watch my car, I'm hitting like side-swiping buildings. I missed the road completely. Red Dead, good, but way too slow for me. So I don't remember what I needed to do. There's something where I was on a river and I needed to catch a beaver or some shit. I can't remember. But I literally think it took me like 2 hours, you know, and it was beautiful. I actually remember, I think I did a Pachter Factor right around then, and I remember commenting on how calm I was watching the rivers, you know, go by and just looking how the sunset on the river. But it's just like that game again, that I think those guys make the most beautiful games ever, but I did not finish that game. And you know, I think that game's not that long, but I didn't finish it. I lost patience with it, and I finally just said, you know, move on. And my problem is I get every game, you know, and so I just can't, you know, I just can't play them all. I mean, God, I can't remember if I played an Assassin's Creed game this cycle. I think I did. Yeah, I did. But they weren't the best. And I'm not a big FIFA Call of Duty person. Like, they're fine. They're fun, but they're not great. I need to probably boot up Last of Us Part 2 again, because I didn't finish it, and I started it, and I was really late in playing God of War. So I was playing God of War when Last of Us Part 2 came out, and I played like, I don't know, 3-4 levels and liked it, but I don't know how it ends. I don't even know, like, I know there's big shockers, and I'm kind of avoiding reviews of the game. So that's on my list. I haven't taken Sony didn't send me a PS5. I don't know why, bastards. So I've still got a PS4, so I'm going to play PS4 games, and I'm going to steadfastly refuse to buy a PS5 if they aren't cool enough to send me one. I'd say that probably the most impactful thing that happened in last gen, that's impactful for decades, is cross-platform play. So, this was a generation, and Sony was really stupid in this when it started, and they obviously got religion and saw the light. That was their CEO at the time, Kodera, just said no and kind of changed his mind late, and now he's replaced by Jim Ryan. But, cross-platform play is scary because steadfastly, sticking to platform only play, PlayStation players can only play against other PlayStation. That encourages your friends to buy a PlayStation, but it ends up being, it's sort of like saying only Republicans can be friends with Republicans and Democrats with Democrats. You don't get any discourse, and you don't get people learning about the other side if you can't talk to the other guys. So cross-platform play was a big deal. And, yes, it started with Fortnite, but it extended to Call of Duty, and that matters. Call of Duty and FIFA being playable where Xbox player can play with PlayStation player. Mobile guys do it. I mean, Android players can play with iOS players, and nobody ever bothered to worry about that. So I think it expands the market. I think it shows the console players that there are other people out there, and it increases liquidity for gameplay for alliance play. You're getting people on different devices, and you can have better alliances because you're going to, the best alliances have the best PlayStation and the best Xbox players. So I think that's the biggest thing. And the second biggest thing is the emergence of free-to-play games. And so again, we've always had them. League of Legends is free-to-play, and all mobile games are free-to-play. World of Tanks is free-to-play. We've always had PC free-to-play games, but you've gotten free-to-play on consoles. And so Fortnite started it. Apex, Overwatch. I mean, the Overwatch, GTA, FIFA Ultimate Team, you got to buy the game in order to play the free-to-play, part. But, making Fortnite free-to-play, Apex free-to-play, now Call of Duty Warzone, that's a big thing. And, interesting on Call of Duty, Activision said early on when Fortnite was eating their lunch, why would we go free-to-play with Call of Duty? We'll never sell another copy of Call of Duty. And I remember asking EA this question about Ultimate Team back, no kidding, 2014. Why don't you make Ultimate Team free to play? And the answer from their CEO was, why would we do that? Nobody would buy FIFA. And I disagreed, but I mean, those guys are in the business of selling FIFA and Call of Duty. So the CEOs genuinely believed that back then. So of course, Call of Duty Warzone launched in March of 2020. It's free to play on console. And Activision reported in June that they sold more copies of Call of Duty Modern Warfare than any version of Call of Duty ever. And they attributed the increase in sales to bringing in new players in Call of Duty Warzone and doing a great job of cross promotion between the games. This year, they launched Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And they announced that on December 4th, they would have integration with Call of Duty Mobile. And I actually called the company because I'm like, I actually don't get this. What is the integration? Like, what are you doing? And they go, oh, well, I mean, I played Call of Duty Mobile and I played Call of Duty console. And they go, well, when you earn a weapon in a game in Call of Duty Premium, the $60 game, and you level the weapon up, so you get to level 35 and you get an AK-47, and then you get the weapon leveled up. That'll work in your mobile game. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's a reason, if you're a free-to-play mobile player, to buy the premium game. You're going to see guys running around with AK-47s, and you're like, where'd you get that? Oh, I got it in Call of Duty Premium. Like, I don't begrudge them paying $60 to play a game, and they earn it in that game. I mean, I totally get it. So everybody gets that, and that's another reason. And you're not going to get 25 million more people to buy Call of Duty Premium. You'll get 1 million. So again, really smart. So I think the legacy of this generation is that they figured out different business models which include cross-platform play and free-to-play. And those things turned out to help the publishers sell more units, help the console manufacturers sell more consoles. So I think it's really good. That's a legacy. Anyway, so I'm hopeful you guys stay safe and sane. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor in 2020. Thank you to our Patreon patrons. You guys have allowed Shane to eat. He's losing weight, but he's not emaciated yet. Thank you for those of you who have joined your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. Keep linking it. It gets us paid. Just remember to renew that. The instructions are in the show description. If you're following us as a YouTube supporter, subscriber, we appreciate it. And all of you have to follow me on Twitter. Please shout out that you are following me, because I guilted you into it, and I promise I will retweet you. Thanks for joining us. Have a happy new year, and we will talk to you next time.